A 300-pound man was found dead at the dinner table. His face was submerged in a bowl of noodles. His hands and feet were bound with steel wire. Beneath the table lay his own excrement. Strangely, there wasn't a single wound on his body. Only a clear bruise marked the back of his head. After the autopsy, the coroner made a shocking discovery. The man had been eaten to death. His stomach had been stretched larger than a basketball. Even his duodenum was packed solid with food. The bruise on the back of his head matched the shape of a gun barrel. The coroner concluded the killer had pressed a gun to his head. He was forced to keep eating until his body finally gave out. The case was assigned to Mills, a rookie detective with the NYPD. He loved this city of sin. He believed this was where he would prove himself. But his seasoned partner Somerset looked deeply troubled. He sensed something was off. This kind of brutality had a purpose. It wasn't a simple act of revenge, and it wouldn't be the last killing. The very next morning, police received another call. A lawyer had been murdered in his office. Every drop of blood had been drained from his body. On the floor, written in blood, was a single word: greed. In front of it stood a set of scales. On one side lay flesh cut from the victim himself. Nearby was a photo of the lawyer's wife defaced with blood-drawn glasses. Mills was eager to make his move, but he had no idea where to start. Then the coroner found something inside the first victim's stomach. Fragments that clearly weren't food. They had been forced down his throat. Somerset stared at the pieces, deep in thought. Suddenly, it hit him. He rushed back to the first crime scene. He examined every corner with care. At last, he noticed scratch marks on the floor that matched the fragments. They were drag marks left by a refrigerator. He moved it aside, and behind it, he found a word carved into the floor: gluttony. The couple pulled into a roadside motel to get some rest. A strange fat man in the shop quickly hid a sack behind a car when he saw them. The couple never noticed it and just asked if there was a room with a big bed. While they were talking, the fat man kept staring at the woman. The moment they went into their room, he dragged the sack past them. A high heel even fell out of it. They had no idea how dangerous this motel really was. Since they had just started dating, they let loose in the room. Everything they did was watched by the motel owner. The owner told all the staff to get ready the next morning. When the couple woke up, they had no idea they were already being hunted. They were still kissing and hugging in the yard. When they went to the diner for coffee, the fat man secretly drugged their drinks. After stirring it well, he served it to them. A strange woman kept ringing a bell to warn them. They had no idea what it meant. Suddenly, the fat man rushed out with a shotgun. The man pulled out his pistol and faced him, but the fat man oddly put his weapon down. The couple took the chance to escape. They watched as the couple drove away, but the gang had already set a trap on the road. Before they got far, a police car pulled them over. As the woman leaned out of the window, the man was knocked out on the other side. When she realized something was wrong, it was already too late. Both of them passed out. They were taken back to the motel again. The man placed the unconscious woman on the dining table. Although lust flickered in his mind, he lacked the courage to act. The woman had caught the attention of his boss. In the end, the fat man's reason overpowered his impulses. He could only lock Annie in an iron cage and wait quietly for the boss to arrive. The boss soon showed up. To his surprise, his daughter was already at the door. She told her father about how she had captured the woman. As a reward, the father kissed his daughter. The daughter's husband witnessed the scene, but the timid husband dared not voice his anger. Later, the woman went down to the basement. She saw Annie locked up and pulled out a high-pressure water gun. She sprayed Annie, driven by jealousy of her beauty. She refused to let anyone outshine her. The water jolted Annie awake. She curled up in a corner, begging for mercy. Meanwhile, Annie's boyfriend Jack woke up in the deep pit. He tried repeatedly to escape, but failed. At that moment, the boss approached. He wanted Jack to submit to him. He said Annie had agreed to marry him and told Jack to think it over. Then the boss went to the basement where Annie was held. He didn't want to hurt her, he only wanted to have children with her. Annie explained that she already had a boyfriend and pleaded for their lives. The boss gave her 2 days to decide, then he drove away. Unexpectedly, once the boss left, his underling suddenly strangled his own daughter. He could no longer endure living with betrayal. A girl in the car witnessed the scene. Strangely, the underling didn't intend to harm her. He opened the car door and urged her to run. It seemed that the underling had returned to the side of justice. The man trapped in the deep pit suddenly noticed something shocking. The thug who had been holding him captive had just hanged himself. This gave him an idea to escape. He used the body as a makeshift ladder and climbed out of the pit. Meanwhile, another thug was in the basement eating a chicken leg. He was enjoying the sight of Annie trapped in the iron cage. At that moment, Annie noticed a nail on the ground. She quickly picked it up. Then she used her charm to seduce the fat man. She promised that if he opened her cage, she would grant any wish he had. She also assured him she wouldn't tell the boss.
I ain't trying to trick you to get out. Hell, you could even come in here if you wanted to. I gotta touch you proper. Come on, you can't get me out like this and then deny me.
Cheese sauce wouldn't stand for it.
Fuck cheese sauce. Besides, I thought we was keeping secrets.
Faced with a beautiful woman offering herself, the fat man couldn't resist. But he took some precautions. He locked Annie up with the key first, then opened the cage. He thought the reward was about to happen.
There you go. Just look. You never laid eyes on anything like this before, have you? You ready, Freight Train? Tell me.
Annie stabbed him in the eye with the nail. The fat man fell to the ground, unable to resist. He could only scream in agony. Hearing the screams, Jack realized his girlfriend was in danger. He rushed to the basement, following the sound. He grabbed a nearby stick and smashed the fat man to death. Nearby, a deranged woman called the boss. Hearing the screams over the phone, the boss immediately headed to the hotel. At the same time, Jack and Annie escaped from the cell. They started the car and left that nightmare behind. They thought they had finally escaped, but they didn't expect the thug boss to appear ahead of them. He tried to stop them by throwing his body in front of their car, but Jack didn't hesitate. He slammed the gas pedal and sent the boss straight to meet the fat man.
Someone please save this poor man. His house is way too small. It simply can't hold all the money he's made. There are 80 pounds of gold stuffed in his closet. 8 suitcases sit in the house. Every single one is packed with cash. He has no choice but to keep burying money in the yard and hiding it in the stable. His wife just wanted to find a pair of shoes. She opened a shoebox and found more money. The man carries 2 bags of cash into the warehouse. The moment he opens the door, money spills out and almost crushes him to death. He decides to bury the cash in the yard. After digging for ages, he uncovers the money he buried last time. So annoying. There's simply nowhere left to hide cash in the yard. In the end, he has no choice but to put the money in banks. 10 million goes into this bank, 40 million into another. Because of him alone, a town with just over 2,000 people opens more than a dozen banks. To make it easier for him, the banks clear out their vaults. They dedicate them entirely to him. Then, to launder the money, he sets up countless shell companies. He even promotes janitors to be company presidents. But there's still too much money to clean. It piles up faster than he can wash it. And despite being this outrageous, no one dares arrest him. The CIA, the DEA, even they line up begging him to get things done. The man's name is Barry. Barry was once a genius pilot, the youngest captain in the history of commercial aviation. He married a beautiful, wealthy woman. They even had a perfect child together. By any standard, he was a total winner in life. But geniuses are different. He grew numb to this predictable, orderly life long ago. This man is seriously troubled. He has so much money that his house can't hold it. He can only bury it in his backyard. Even though his money comes from unknown sources, no one dares to arrest him. The most outrageous thing Barry ever did before was smuggle a few cigars. Because of that, a CIA agent showed up at his door. But the agent wasn't there to arrest Barry. He used it as leverage to force Barry to work for him. Barry was not only an exceptional pilot, but also incredibly fearless. That was exactly the kind of talent the CIA needed. It was the height of the Cold War. The United States needed frequent spy flights over sensitive regions. Barry's job was to fly this plane into Central America at low altitude and photograph rebel bases on the ground. Barry was a born adventurer. He officially became a secret CIA pilot. He flew through dense rainforests. Every day, he photographed armed camps at designated locations. The mission was extremely dangerous. Rebels on the ground would fire rifles straight into the sky. But with his incredible skills, Barry escaped danger every single time. After each